Okay, we're gonna slate.
Oh, you do it.
Welcome to Table Scraps, Paul.
Hey, thanks for having me on Table Scraps, Ben.
Oh yeah, it's such a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah,
6 times in a row.
6 times. This is number 6, everyone.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
Like, how many subscribers do we have?
I think we're up to 61, or maybe it's 15. I don't know. We could be going down. With this compelling content.
Exactly. Well, it's still your opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
If you want, you can start clicking, and maybe you'll be 75.
Who's going to be the 100th one? It's so exciting.
That's right.
With our slow growth of subscribers, but I think today we're going to talk about something that's going to break the internet.
Break the internet. Whoa.
It's time for Table Scraps to break.
Like, we've been holding off for 5 episodes to break.
I know.
So the internet had plenty of warning.
So something very exciting is happening for the two of us.
For 2 of us.
After we were finished recording this, we're going to get omakase at a fancy Japanese restaurant because I owe you a fancy meal because you helped out.
Yes, you do. Part of playing pants, like a little cash, a lot of dinner.
Yeah. So on my other podcast, Watch What Crappens, we did a big show on Broadway and Paul helped out backstage and he gets a fancy meal at a Japanese restaurant tonight as payment.
That's right. As a gratuity.
So we will gratuitously
enjoy some sushi.
This. So Table Scraps, I don't know, every time it's chat, we just chat. And so what are we going to talk about? So I thought last night, because I've been so excited for 48 hours for this.
Yep.
And I thought I was thinking about sushi and I was thinking about board games and then I was thinking about sushi and then I started thinking about board games and I thought, what sushi? No. Let me rephrase this. Got to make sure it sounds good so that way you can lead into
That's right.
a YouTube clip, right? You got to I've been studying my SEO to get that 73rd, subscriber. If games were sushi, what sushi would they be? And I thought, sure, we could talk. I could bring out my homemade Table Scraps cards like I did last week. Yeah. But I thought, what's always fun?
Ooh,
a bowl,
a
sushi bowl,
excellent.
So I
sushi a go.
I typed out various sushi rolls, sushi orders.
Great. Common
things you would get at a sushi restaurant. So some of it is non-sushi actually.
Great.
But if you went to a sushi restaurant, what would you get? I just want to say right now, Sushi Go is disqualified for being too on the nose with this game, so we will not include Sushi Go.
You are a very wise person.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, I figured the bowl format, we could ask each other. That way, it's not just me with the cards. This way, we could just dig into it.
I love it.
I have not prepared. I don't.
This is gonna be off the cuff, everyone.
It's gonna be off the cuff. It's gonna be off the cuff. But also, we're gonna I think we're gonna talk our way. I think some of these will not be immediately obvious, and I think we're gonna try to talk
because games to sushi is a little. It's advanced.
This is what the people want.
I've actually have gotten tons of from our 61 subscribers.
Also, feel free to make commentary on the piece of sushi too. If
Great.
Stuff. Okay, shall I start?
Let's do it.
Or do you want to start? Ladies' choice.
Look, sure, I'll go first.
Okay, you start.
Okay.
Oh.
Fee, if you were not watching on video, I just dropped a bowl of sushi.
We're trying to get subscribers. You can't be that was a terrible handoff. Okay, try it again.
There we go.
Just put it in the middle. Just put it in the middle and just pull out.
Okay,
pull out.
We're going to put the glass there.
We're going to get this all nice. We have a remote because we have a clock on the wall to make sure we are, keeping time. And the remote I should have struck this from the set, but it's here and it's with us. So.
Oh, this is pretty interesting.
What's this one?
This is a volcano roll.
Volcano roll. So obviously volcano roll is not a there's different versions of it, right?
Sure.
Certain things, there can be certain things that it's always like this. But a volcano roll, my experience, it's always been kind of one of these tall rolls. It's almost like a pile of stuff. It's there's usually a lot of tempura in there and spicy mayos and drizzles and it's a lot of stuff and it's pretty intense and pretty heavy. I'm gonna say that's Twilight Imperium right there.
Wow.
The volcano
Twilight
roll is Twilight Imperium. It's big, it's heavy, it's intense. It's
know-
also silly. It cannot be taken seriously.
And I do actually really like that because like
right out the gate.
because like in the end it's just a California roll. So the mechanics are actually very simple.
Yeah, yes.
You know? And so but like it's this hot piled mess. It's bigger than you expect.
Yes.
And then and it causes people some heartburn.
I one time went to all you can eat sushi when I was younger, like back in like around 2003, 2004, when I'd go to all you can eat sushi. To me, I was just this young, struggling guy in LA. And my friends and I would go to all you can eat sushi. And to us, it was like, at that time, you pay $30 and you get all you can eat sushi. And this was like such a great deal that like we would sit there for hours. We're like, we have to eat as much as we can. It was like scarcity mindset.
We have to like hurt our internal organs.
And we would always go in and we would always just eat so much. And so they would see us, they come in and they liked it. They're like, oh, hey, and they'd always just make us stuff. And I remember one time going in and being there for like 2 hours. And my friend and I were both like, that's it. We can't do any more. And the guy, they were so nice. They're like, you know what? Here's something fun for you. And he put down a giant volcano roll. And you can't even imagine being full where you just think like salmon's gonna just come out of every hole in your body. And then we had to eat the volcano. And that thing is you have to eat everything all you can eat.
That's right. So I actually, I hear that story and I think like, oh, he's saying, look at these people just trying to eat me out of house. You know what we're going to do? I'm going to volcano roll these.
We were like, they liked us so much. It was like, no, I'm going to trauma. Like this is going to be the thing that breaks them.
Trauma you.
So you agree with you say
I like it. I like it.
Okay.
I like it particularly because like it's usually California rolls, and so California rolls are easily digested or like accepted, and so like and the mechanics of Twilight are pretty.
It's a populist. It's a very like this is you're not going to get a volcano roll. I don't think at most high end sushi places. This is like strip mall, suburban, fun sushi that
you eat with friends.
You eat with friends.
You don't eat a volcano roll by yourself.
Well, you don't know that. You don't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, but I agree. Ooh, here's one.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot. I didn't write down the Japanese name for it because I forgot.
Okay.
But mackerel.
Ooh.
Tell people about mackerel because some people may not be fully aware of mackerel.
So there are various mackerels, but when I think of mackerel, I think of saba.
Okay.
Saba is basically mackerel because mackerel is a fish that like spoils quickly. What happens is like they put it in vinegar and like they cure it, and so that's what when you order mackerel, that's generally what you're gonna get.
Yeah,
unless there's a prefix in front, like Spanish mackerel or horse mackerel. But like if you just get mackerel, it's usually going to
just
be
classic mackerel,
like saba,
just like down like just like your Main Street USA mackerel.
When I think of mackerel, I think of like the equivalent of like your entry stinky cheese because it's a funky fish.
It's like your first Roquefort.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Your first Gorgonzola.
Great. I love that. And so, what is your first like entry level down and dirty game that you're like, And so, I think if I were to, I think of it as Le Havre.
Oh,
Le Havre. I'm not very good at Le Havre.
Interesting.
But I think of when I think of stinky, I think of French for cheese, not for. And I think it's the first time you get like that kind of down and dirty. It's not as perfected as say Agricola, but like but you get like the interactions in a way that like really punch you in the face.
Okay,
Le Havre. That's
Le
my
Havre.
answer.
Okay. You know what's weird? I'm not getting Le Havre off of mackerel. I'm not saying your feelings are valid. First of all, your feelings are valid.
Thank you.
But mackerel is not taking me to Le Havre. Mackerel's taking me to a weird place. For some reason, I want to say mind management, which
like that sounds crazy to me.
So
we're gonna have some divergent opinion here.
No. But I'm not sure I'm gonna land on mind management. So to me, like I like your whole thing of it's like your your first funky fish. To me though, like mackerel is like the funky one that comes in. And I also think you sort of make it seem like a gateway funky fish. I actually don't think it's a gateway sushi. I think it's like you kind of work your way up to it. I think that like when you're starting sushi for most people, and I'll say this is like American palate.
Sure.
And of course even that's a loaded term, but just go with it, everyone. But I think like we're going with our salmons and tunas and things like that, yellowtails, and mackerel is It's funkier. Its flesh is firmer. It's a little bit like an advanced play. Is it the Great Zimbabwe? Is it a splatter game?
Wow. Well,
Is it a splatter game in that like it's I don't think it's as accessible as Le Havre. Maybe splatters. Maybe it's Brass. Although Brass really elevates it high.
Yeah, Brass is pretty. Like,
What's a game that's like has some? It's like a little impenetrable, but then as you play it, you grow to really love it.
Now you got me on the splatter thing. I got
It kind of feels a little splattery. But it's not the Great Zimbabwe. Is it Antiquity? That's really heavy.
Yeah.
Is it Indonesia?
Indonesia.
Is it Horseless Carriage?
Horse mackerel carriage.
Horse mackerel carriage. Wait, maybe it's Roads and Boats.
Yeah,
I think it's Roads and Boats.
I like that. I like that because it is accessible.
Yes, and there's something familiar about it. You look at Roads and Boats, and you might even think of Catan.
Sure, I'll give it to you.
Are you okay? Because I basically talked you out of Le Havre.
Well, no, I feel like we're just changing the calibration. The calibration, probably like I don't know. We'll probably get to tuna or something like that in here. But like you're saying, that is probably entry level Euro kind of thing.
Yeah, I just feel like it's not. I just feel like Le Havre is like, yes, it's stinky and French. Like I guess I see the mackerel is more of a stinky fish, and stinky makes you think of cheese. Cheese makes you think of France. You get to Le Havre, so I get thematically why you went there, but
I'm looking at mackerel as first crunchy Euro, and for me, like a Havre is one where I go, oh, this is not crunchy.
See, I wasn't thinking about crunchy. I was thinking more like funky. And the funky to me is more. It's not just that it's crunchy. It's that like, it's not that it has a heaviness or that's difficult to figure out. To me, the funkiness means that like, oh, you think you sort of know how this game works, but you really don't, and you sort of have to like learn it and play with it.
That also works too.
You have to kind of like. You have to figure out some of it. That's why I thought Brass, because Brass, you think you know how you're going to play it when you first play it.
I think maybe when my first experience with mackerel is like, oh, I think I know what it's going to be. Yeah. And it's an oiler fish. And you're like, oh, I think it's going to be like, you're like, oh, you know what? This is actually quite nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna say Roads and Boats for mackerel is Roads and Boats.
So everyone, Ben has shamed me from Le Havre.
Now would be a great time to tell everyone that if you have a dissenting opinion, or if you'd like to add on to it, or if you'd like to agree, please leave a comment down below. And also subscribe. We're joking about like our subscribers, but it actually really would be helpful to us if you subscribe. So just hit the subscribe button. You don't have to do anything else. You can hide our notifications. I don't care.
That's right.
I don't care, but subscribe. But do leave a comment, because I'm not just shamelessly asking people to leave a comment for YouTube channel growth. I do want to hear what people say. I love discussions like these where people will be like, actually, if you really think about it, mackerel is clearly, Race for the Galaxy, which actually it could be.
No.
Yes.
No. Okay.
You know what? We already settled on Roads and Boats.
Right. Okay. Oh, wow. I knew we're going to get this, and we got it. We got number 3. Toro. Fatty tuna belly.
Oh, it's like, this is high end. This is special. This is expensive. This is when you get Toro, you eat it slowly. And if like someone's talking to you, you kind of stop talking. Yeah. Because you want to just focus intensely on the textures and the flavors and the fattiness and the oil. So something that is like special, almost like a masterpiece.
Masterpiece? What game is a masterpiece?
I mean, it could be Brass.
Brass.
Brass is trickier though. I think Toro is Toro. Well, for me, Toro might be a Concordia.
Oh, you do love your Concordia.
You don't like Concordia as much as I do, but for me, I feel really good saying Toro is Concordia. Elegant, simple rule set, a lot of depth, and it's but is it a special? Is Concordia special? Concordia's a special game.
Yeah. I think a lot of times people feel that Toro is the premium cut.
Yeah.
And so for me, like, this basically is shorthand for what's the best game. And for me, that's going to be Avalon.
Okay.
Because it's so simple and it has depth, and I can keep on going to this again. And there's never a time where I'm going to go like, oh, yeah, I don't want the Toro. Yeah. But I think this is, but Concordia could also work.
For us, we're basically saying that Toro is sort of a stand-in avatar for like high quality special, a special moment where you just kind of want to be quiet and sort of like and bask in its. But
You know what?
are either of these? Did either of these describe Concordia or Avalon?
I think you know what? I look at this. I go like I hear a thing. I go like I would say maybe hegemony.
Class warfare. Wow.
And like class warfare.
Because you think that's what the fish that you think that's what represents, like high end.
And I think it has like a certain depth to it, like that like it's unexpected. I think people go like, oh, it's just tuna but fatty, but you go like you have no idea. you have no idea. Like you do not know what you're talking about.
Wow, I don't. Okay, I feel like if hegemony gets used, I probably am not going to use it for that one.
Okay, use it.
But I also the one thing is though, like I do feel like Toro demands a certain amount of respect and like and I don't know if either of our choices, even hegemony, I don't know if Avalon or in my case Concordia, inspire reverence because they are so
reverence. That's a good word. Okay, what game inspires reverence?
I think it's got to be like a special thing. Is it going to be another Splatter? Is it
like is there any game that we play
when
with
you
reverence?
pull it out? It's like if Tom were here, if our friend Tom were here, he would probably say Democker, which I actually think is not so bad of a choice. Something that when it comes out, it feels like, you know what, in a weird way. I have a weird one. Like there's one game that I have reverence towards. So when I pull it out, I don't pull it out a lot, but when I do pull it out, I give it reverence. Arkwright.
Arkwright.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. It is one that you have to
when you pull out Arkwright, there like it's like a statement.
A statement
when it's out there on the table.
Okay, I'll give that to you. Like I think hegemony is what I would go for.
You know what? And hegemony is a statement too, and I think that in a few years, hegemony will have that sort of.
I've always been a little bit ahead of my time.
Yeah, you haven't. I love hegemony, by the way, for the record. Okay, here's one for you.
Yep.
Ready?
Yep. We're doing it.
You know what? I hope that by the time this is released, that I've learned enough of Apple Motion that every time we mention a sushi piece, I can make it sort of like pop up on screen in a cute way.
Love it. I
mean, I can always put something on screen, but I want it to pop up in a fun, professional way.
Maybe
with a sound effect. Dare to dream. We're going sushi adjacent.
Sushi adjacent, okay.
It's not sushi at all, but it is
Tofu?
Miso soup.
Miso soup. Ooh, a starter. Something that is okay. I got one.
Yes.
Cockroach poker.
I like that. You know, it takes me a moment to push past the cockroach element with miso soup. I like that. I almost feel, for me,
sure. Like I respect your sushi thoughts, but
there's something deceptive. Cockroach poker is a bluffing game, right? Where you're basically saying you've handed me this, and you have to say it, and the bluffing to me, when you take on miso soup, what is taking you to, as opposed to any other game of that size and weight? Why is it cockroach poker?
See, I think of it as a delightful opener. Like to the meal.
Okay.
Yeah, I think of it like, oh, here is something that will set the mood for the game night.
Right.
And I feel that's what miso oftentimes does.
Okay.
Unless you put the miso at night, which also cockroach poker can be played post.
Yeah.
So
you know what? I'm going to give that to you because I could sit here and try to think of like other sort of games that size that I think would also open it. But like, why bother? Like, I think cockroach poker is a good one. I guess the reason why I hedged a little bit or I pushed back a little bit was because I feel like that's a game about bluffing and deception. And I feel like miso soup is, I mean, it is cloudy, but there's something that's kind of like enrobing and enriching and satisfying about it that you're like, and I almost not worry, but I wonder, does cockroach poker give you those sensations? That doesn't even matter in this sort of game.
Well, I suppose like we just dig this a little. Is there something that gives you a warm feeling playing together? That
yes.
miso soup, like
yes, I have
the opener, something short that like
This is very on the nose. This is actually, I think it's too small. This is too slight. But vegetable stock, the game vegetable stock, but that's literally, it's in the name. But what about, here's what I would say. I think mine, it does involve deception, but I would say no thanks.
No thanks.
Did you ever play that game?
I have.
That's a fun one.
Sure.
It's not, but it doesn't give you. It's not. I can see it doesn't warm you the same way.
Like I'm trying to get opener plus super warm.
There's
feelings.
like what about just one or So Clover?
So Clover. I don't.
They're
think,
not really openers, huh?
Yeah, they're not openers. Yeah, just one is.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Let's just stick with Cockroach Poker.
Okay,
I think
great,
that's fair.
great.
I think that's fair.
Oh, here's something. Not necessarily an opener, but like oftentimes, but could be. But oftentimes, sushi adjacent.
Yes.
Depending on where you are. Seaweed salad.
Ooh.
I had some seaweed salad today.
You did?
On
a sushi day, you were just like setting the tone.
It was more Korean kimchi-esque kind of thing. But it was only one bite. It was salty.
Seaweed salad.
We're talking about the kind of like the translucent bright green, bright dark green salad.
Briny, bright. Okay, I think so there's two ways that we can approach this thought exercise that we're doing, which is we describe the food and then say what game matches it. Or we think about the food and we think, when I eat this food, what game do I think of? It's like the association game. Mm-hmm. But I'm looking at all my games, so whatever I look at first, I'm going to associate with. Okay, so seaweed salad. I wish I could remember all my smaller games. It's like, this is a mix of association and leading down the path. This may be too aggressive of a suggestion.
Like of a flavor or
an aggressive of a game that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
But is seaweed salad the Estates?
Whoa. Whoa, that's out of left field. Wow. I can't accept that. I can't accept that. I understand what you're saying.
Because I feel like seaweed salad is going to be a game that you play in about 45 minutes, right, to an hour.
Sure.
Right? The Estates has, obviously, elbows, but seaweed salad has kind of like that briny thing. It's like it's more assertive than it looks and gets in your teeth and can be kind of like a thing. So I was thinking, the States is probably too harsh, huh? Like way harsh tie.
I think Estates tends to, the way I play, tends to be like a feel bad, good bad,
I really wish I could see my small games. They're just like hidden. There's a door right here all my full board game collection is right there behind the camera, so I can see all the big games, and there's some over there. But the small games are right here, and I can't see them, and I really wish I could reference them. But maybe that's not, it should be what comes into your head, not what you look at.
How about Tichu?
That's it. It's Tichu. 100% Tichu. It's a card game. Yeah.
Beautiful. We did it. We solved it. We solved everyone.
Sometimes when you just know. Ooh, this is delightful.
Delightful. I love delightful, Ben.
Okay. Scallop hand roll.
I love myself on scallop.
I just also want to point out we have so many options in here. We may have to do a lightning round at one point,
or we just do another part two, like
part two.
Yeah, like
the ones we didn't get to. I feel like before we still have some to go through.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll do. We may have to fish through here, pun intended, to get some marquee things like if California roll doesn't come up, etc.
Love. Okay, so I love myself. A scallop hand roll. I have yet to have a scallop hand roll where I go like, oh, this is great.
I don't know why I like it in hand roll form more than just like a cut roll form. I don't know. Like you can get it as a cut roll, but for some reason in hand roll form, it's so wonderful.
Yeah, no, especially if it's warm. Delightful.
Crispy wrap.
Yep.
Seaweed.
Let's see. What would be a delightful? So I think if I'm just thinking through my process, guys. So delightful game that always makes me smile.
Yeah, always makes you smile.
Delightful game
or just like when you think of scallop, when you think of a scallop hand roll, what's the game that comes into your mind? I think I know.
You have one? Okay,
but no, it's your turn. You've got to answer it.
For me, I think the game that has never made me not smile is Cassell. Or is that
Castell?
Castell, yeah.
That's a good one. I was going to say Windmill Valley. The windmills. It's whimsy. It's just like lovely.
Love it.
But Castell's a good one.
Like,
Castell's great, by the way.
Yeah, no, I think it's one where I go like, oh, this is.
Yeah. If you don't know what Castell is a game. I think we actually mentioned it a few weeks ago, but it's a designer who I think has only done that game. I could be wrong, but you are building towers of humans in the tradition of a sport or not a sport. It's like an activity. It's a thing that happens in Catalonia,
Sure.
where people
towers.
They make human towers, and there's a board game version of it, and it is a great game. I don't know why it has not become more of a thing over the years.
No,
okay,
I think it's great. Oh,
okay.
Is it me? Is it me or you?
Oh yeah, it's you. Sorry.
All right, no worries.
Sorry, I started reaching into the bowl, the sushi bowl, the poke bowl.
Ooh, this is a classic, American classic.
Uh-oh.
Spicy tuna roll.
Oh, spicy tuna roll. Pandemic.
I think that's it.
It's like
there's no.
It's entry. It's like a gateway game.
No, that's perfect.
It's everyone likes it. Everyone will always enjoy Pandemic, but it's not a breeze. You have to you learn.
I think that literally is perfect.
Okay,
I have no notes.
Pandemic.
I have no notes.
Spicy tuna roll. Pandemic.
I have no notes on that.
Okay, I'm gonna hold the bowl up here so you can see it on TV. On TV. This is being telecast.
That's right.
On ABC. Okay. Is Sam Donaldson still alive?
I believe he's alive. I don't think he's an actor.
Jennings is no longer with us. But this one's so small. I didn't think. Oh.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna hold. You're not gonna be able to see it, but uni.
Ooh, this is really good. Because
you like uni. Tell everyone what uni is. And
uni, I could say. I can say the polite way, but I'll say it. The uni are the gonads of a sea urchin.
Yeah.
So that's the specific. That's the scientific way of saying it.
Yes.
It's it has a briny texture, taste,
mushy,
a creamy texture, briny taste. They say it tastes is sea butter. That's what some people will describe it as. I used to think that it tasted a little bit like rubber.
What?
Yeah, but as my palate has acclimated, it tastes like sea rubber.
Sea rubber.
But in a good way.
I love uni. The first time I tried uni was at that all-you-can-eat sushi place, because it used to be that you could get uni, but you only get it one piece. And I remember being at that time, I had never had it before, and I thought, well, this has to be special if it's like you can only have one.
Sure.
So I tried it and I loved it. It is creamy. It tastes of the sea. It just has this lovely, cold, delicate flavor. A lot of people, it's divisive. A lot of people don't like it.
That's the word I was going to use. So
it's like, it's a luxury. It's often the most expensive. It's one of the most expensive things you'll find on a sushi menu. I once, at the Hollywood Farmers Market, there's like little various seafood stalls. And one day I went in and they had live Santa Barbara sea urchin, and they just, they open it up and you just, the tendrils, not the tendrils, the spikes are still moving, and you're going in there with a fork and you're just eating it right out of there, and it's divine. But there are people who will absolutely never have it, think it's the most disgusting thing on the planet. So what is that board game?
Food Chain Magnet.
Wow. Okay.
I think it's a complex thing. Mm-hmm. Like and it's pretty, like, it's a big fish. It's a big sushi choice. And I think, like, in the end, there are people who go like, I'm just not in for it. Like, it's too much.
I'm gonna tell you what it is.
Oh, you tell me, please, because you're really good at this.
It's Arcs.
Or
maybe it's John Company. It's something that is like, there are people who are like, this game is a work of art.
Is it like, so you're saying it's any Cole Worley?
But I'm not going to say it's Oath or anything. I'm going to say it's either John. I'm going to say it's John Company, because that's even a little bit more. I think it has more of a narrower appeal. Arcs is a little broader, but Arcs. Is it Arcs or is it? I mean, it does. Arcs kind of, the board of Arcs does look like a sea urchin if you think about it. So I'm going to give it to Arcs just on that.
Okay.
But
overridden again.
I'm
overridden again, everyone. Justice for Paul.
No. I think you say Food Chain Magnate.
Yeah.
I'm saying
100%.
because
yeah.
this is a game that a lot of people love, and I say like, okay, like I've only played it twice. I haven't done the campaign, because if it's arcs, you gotta say this stuff.
Do you have a reverse where you love this game? A lot of people love this game, but there are some people who are anti this game because you're the other way.
Yeah, one that works for me. Maybe Tragedy Looper. I think most people really like Tragedy Looper if they're willing. Maybe it is Tragedy Looper. Like it's this thing that like if you're willing to kind of like sit through the teach and understand and go with it, you're gonna be like, this is fantastic. But the reason why I say arcs is because I do think there are people who just don't get it or just don't get the hype like me, and there's some people who are like, this is the best thing ever. So it feels. And I think that there's also, here's why it's more arcs. Here's why it's not just a game that I like that other people don't like. When it comes to cold whirly games, there is like an undertone with cold whirly games of like, these are games for intellectual people. Like if I don't love a cold whirly game, maybe it's because I'm not smart enough.
Sure.
There's almost like a vibe. It's kind of like
you're not a real gamer.
And I'm not saying if you like his games, you are that person. But definitely when you don't love his games, you receive there's just like a vibe in the air, like, oh,
sure.
Really? And I kind of think that uni lovers probably do the same thing.
Like, you don't really like sushi if you don't like uni. Like
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So
So what I'm finding actually that's really interesting is like when we pick these fishes or these sushis, or like I'm going to like what the most reductive element is, like divisive or like, and
then I just override you.
But it's great. It's great. I love it. No, I think this is what chit chat's about.
That's exactly.
Yeah. We got
one more each,
yeah.
And then we'll just maybe we'll make it. Do you want to dig in for your last one, or do you want to choose it random? I guess you've already chosen.
It's fine. This is good. California roll. We did it, everyone. We did it.
I think we all. Okay. Well, it could be one of two things. Is it Catan or is it Ticket to Ride, or is it not even those?
Wow, that you've hit it. It is.
I mean, you could say it's Monopoly, but I think that's not even Monopoly.
No. I think it's Ticket to Ride.
I think it's Ticket to Ride, and I think a spicy California roll, Catan. Okay. I just kind of wanted to make sure we got
like you're actually a lot better at this than me.
I think you're good.
I'm just saying, but when you like the last two, like you hit on the like you knew.
I felt like I knew them, but but whatever. I mean, there's no right answer because we're talking about board games that could be sushi. So that's literally the most objective thing in the world.
Objective. Oh, you're excited.
This is the best last one because all these have been typed out because I printed them out, I should say. And this one I forgot to print out. So I went back and I cut out a square the same size and I wrote it. And I can't believe I got it as the final one because the final one went in.
This is this is the Oscars. We don't have an accountant, but
the grand finale.
This is really happening, everyone.
This is good. Okay,
great.
All right. What board game is Fugu, aka Blowfish?
Wow. What board game?
If I could drop the mic, I would.
Boom. What board game might kill you?
Might kill you. Can you tell everyone what Fugu is?
Fugu is known as pufferfish.
Yes.
One of the things that pufferfish does is like it eats a certain algae in the wild, and it converts that into toxins that can be found once again in its gonads and its liver. It's a very potent neurotoxin, and if you can eat the flesh, it's kind of a translucent white fish, you're fine. But if you even nick some of the gonads or liver, that can like taint the flesh, and you can die.
Yeah. Yep. Very, very poor. It's like the risk level is so high that there's only a certain number of sushi chefs who are licensed to be able to serve it.
And although I have not had Fugu per se, but like apparently like the best Fugu to get is one where you have just enough toxin that you have a little glow around your lips, which is really the choice is a
That's
choice
a
there.
choice. That's a choice. Or you could just like put an ice cube. You can suck on an ice cube and get numbed that way. I don't
Yeah. So
too scary.
but you can also have farm fugu, and you don't feed it the algae, and it won't be poisonous.
Oh, is that what? Really?
Yeah, it's only because of it eats this certain algae in the wild. It's
I
like
had no idea.
it's like what you call it, the blowfish frogs kind of thing. Like like the poison dart frogs. Like they eat these ants and stuff like that, and then they generate the toxins from the poison in the ants.
I had no idea.
But
I had no idea. So
like I'm not the Discovery Channel. I just
no, but you know so many things
about poisons apparently.
Because I just would have said you have to be careful because you get poisoned, but you bring in the whole thing with the algae. Okay, so what board game is Fugu?
So here's where we go full circle. So I think for me, and it's not going to really be this way, it is actually Twilight Imperium.
Yeah.
Because for those who don't know, I'm fairly new to Twilight Imperium.
Yes.
And it seems like every time I play, someone's having a meltdown, and it's rarely me.
Paul literally made someone cry over the weekend when we played it.
And
so there was some Fugu poisoning.
And everyone knew. I've had problems with people before. Like, if you would like to go onto Game Brain's Discord.
Yeah, this is something that happens with Paul.
And so what happens, I feel like, like if you're going to play Twilight Imperium with me,
you could get nicked.
Like
that toxin could come out. You have to be careful.
Yeah, I think for me, I think that's the one that that it is.
Yeah, I am torn. There's like part of me that like I had this weird instinctual desire to say zombicide.
Zombicide?
Because it's like I don't know. I think it's just because it's like
sure zombie poison.
But I think that like Fugu is like more. I don't know. It's like it's such a delicacy. It's almost rare, but it's dangerous. Like, do you want to play it? You might get hurt.
Make it hurt in board games.
I don't know. Like, part of me thought, like, is it diplomacy where friendships get killed?
Oh, that's actually very good. That's very good. I like diplomacy.
You know what? Oh, wait a second.
Oh,
it's neither in my mind.
Neither.
Fugu is a dangerous game. A game that some people just can't hack.
They can't hack.
Much like Cold War Elite. Just kidding. No, Fugu is a game that it can be brutal. It can hurt you. You may never ever want to have it again. You may just never even survive it. You may not even get to the end of it.
Sure.
You may never even get to the end of the game.
I'm loving you. You're building it up, Ben.
Fugu to me is 1817.
Wow.
An 18xx game that is simultaneously thrilling and riveting, but could crush you into smithereens. And you have to be able to you have to sit down and say, I am willing to do this. Like things may go sour.
Commitment.
That's commitment. Because 18xx has the brutality of like a toxin. Mm-hmm. Like you can get hurt, and 1817 wants to hurt you.
And I have been hurt by 1817.
And you have been hurt by 1817. And it's not something that's going to come to the table easily.
No, it's a choice. It's a strong choice.
It has to be like the people have to be willing to do it. They know friendships may not survive it. Stamina may not survive it. You may never go back to 18xx ever again, but it requires a certain thing. So to me, Fugu is 1817.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I think,
I think we discovered certain truths. We have a lot of things, a lot of sushi in the bowl, but that's okay because you know what?
We'll do a part 2.
We can do a part 2, maybe even a part 3. There's actually, I really put down a lot in here.
You went and got all the sushis.
I got all the sushi. But it's time for us to get sushi.
Oh yeah.
I'm very excited. Thank you to everyone who listened and watched. Remember to subscribe. Just hit the button down there. And if you're watching it where there's no subscribe button, then follow links and whatever to get to the subscribe. Just subscribe. Make our lives happier.
Yeah.
And
write down what fishes you think.
Be sure to weigh in on where we were wrong and where we were right.
Because although we might think these are objective, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it comes from our perspective as gamers of what we know, what the type of games that we play. But there are people that play, minis. People play Warhammer. People play Mansions of Madness and everything, all these different games. So I definitely want to hear where people land on this great sushi discussion of 2025.
Great sushi spectrum.
Wow, what a fun table scraps, Paul.
Yeah, well, scraps, food, tables, it's all happening here. And be number 62 to subscribe.
Table scraps.
Table scraps.